And so while we don't want that situation to happen, of course, I think we're prepared for any possibility right now.
Naphesea Collier's lockout threat has dropped a bombshell that could rewrite the entire history of the WNBA, and it's putting Caitlin Clark's legacy at stake in ways we've never seen before. On March 12th, during an interview on CBS Sports' We Need to Talk Now, Collier, one of the league's biggest stars, sent shockwaves through the basketball world by revealing that players are seriously discussing a work stoppage if their demands aren't met in the upcoming collective bargaining agreement negotiations. This isn't just a casual comment, it's a declaration that could change the WNBA forever, and it comes at a time when Caitlin Clark is cementing herself as the league's brightest young star. The stakes couldn't be higher. The WNBA is riding a wave of unprecedented growth, with 2.35 million fans in attendance in 2024, a groundbreaking $2.2 billion media deal, and Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. Collier's announcement has ignited fierce debate over the future of the league, the fairness of its revenue-sharing model, and the very legacy of its top players. Let's start with what Naphesea Collier actually said. On March 12th, during her appearance on We Need to Talk Now, Collier didn't mince words. She declared, "We're internally discussing the possibility of a work stoppage."
I don't know. I mean, it's something that we're talking about internally, to, be prepared for. Of course, no one wants that situation to happen. But I do feel like there's some topics that we have in mind that, we have to stand strong in what we believe in too. We have to stand up for what we feel is right and what we feel we deserve. And so while we don't want that situation to happen, of course, I think we're prepared for any possibility right now.
Collier's words have set off a firestorm. She pointed out the massive disparity between the WNBA and the NBA. While NBA players receive 50% of league revenue, amounting to billions, WNBA players currently get only 9.3% of the league's $200 million revenue, which is a pittance in comparison. Collier made it clear that the players aren't demanding NBA-level salaries. They want NBA-level revenue sharing. If the league doesn't step up, they're ready to take drastic action. This isn't just any player speaking out. Collier is the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year, a finals star who averaged 19.0 points and 8.0 rebounds against the Liberty, and a co-founder of the unrivaled 3-on-3 League, where she recently won a $200,000 prize dominating the one-on-one tournament. Her voice carries weight, and when she speaks, the entire WNBA listens. But how does this affect Caitlin Clark? Clark is the face of the WNBA's new era. Her 15 million Fever Sky viewers, record-breaking rookie season, and role in driving a 48% revenue increase have already made headlines. A lockout threat like this doesn't just shake the league's past, it puts Clark's future legacy on the line. To understand why this threat is such a bombshell, we need to consider the league's history. The WNBA has a long, hard-fought history of labor battles that have defined its identity. Back in 1999, the league's first CBA set the average salary at $30,000, up from $15,000 in 1997, yet even then, players like Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Swoops had to earn $50,000 to $75,000 overseas just to make ends meet. Leslie, who averaged 15.4 points in 1999, led a push for maternity leave that was implemented in 2000, a landmark moment for player rights. Fast forward to 2003, players threatened a work stoppage, which resulted in the CBA raising averages to $45,000, with Swoops then averaging 16.9 points, fighting for better benefits. In 2011, an NBA lockout delayed WNBA talks, leaving players like Candace Parker earning $90,000, frustrated enough to seek better opportunities abroad. The most recent 2020 CBA increased the salary cap to $1.3 million and raised the average salary to $119,590, with maximum contracts capped at $252,000. A significant leap, yet still far from the NBA's $10 million average. Collier's current threat isn't just another chapter in this history, it's a potential turning point that could rewrite the WNBA's history books. Now, let's talk about why this lockout threat is such a bombshell for the league's legacy. The WNBA has been on an upward trajectory. 2024 was record-breaking, with 2.35 million fans filling arenas and 657,000 average viewers, a 24-year peak. The league's $2.2 billion 11-year media deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon, signed in July 2024, is set to inject $200 million in annual revenue starting in 2025. Yet players receive only 9.3% 9.3% of that revenue, a mere fraction compared to the NBA's 50% share. This discrepancy isn't just about numbers, it's about respect. The WNBA has built its legacy on the hard work of players who fought for every inch. Leslie's maternity leave push, Swoops' advocacy for better benefits, and the gradual improvements seen in each subsequent CBA. But these battles have come with risks. Strikes, lockouts, and occasional fan backlash have threatened the league's growth at crucial moments. A lockout in 2025, right when the league is gaining global attention, could halt that momentum in its tracks. Let's dig deeper into how this lockout threat could rewrite the WNBA's history. The league is in the midst of a massive expansion phase. Golden State Valkyries are set to debut in 2025, with Toronto Tempo and Portland following in 2026. This marks the league's first international team in Canada, and these expansions are expected to add hundreds of thousands of fans in the coming years. But a work stoppage could throw a wrench into these plans, delaying team launches, disrupting sponsorship deals, and stalling the league's global ambitions. The $2.2 billion media deal is a game changer, yet if games aren't played, broadcasters like Disney and NBC could pull back, costing the league millions in revenue. Sponsorships, which saw a 20% growth in 2024 with deals from brands like Nike and State Farm, might also suffer, especially if a lockout casts doubt on the league's stability. A delayed season start could cost millions in gate revenue, further tarnishing the WNBA's legacy as a leader in women's sports, and putting stars like Caitlin Clark directly in the crosshairs.
I am honored to officially announce that we have awarded the City of Toronto the 14th WNBA franchise.
Now, let's consider the financial stakes. The WNBPA is pushing for a 50% revenue share, which would mean players could secure a much larger piece of the pie, a move that would represent a monumental shift from the current 9.3% share. In numerical terms, that would translate into an increase from a meager $18.6 million to potentially $100 million out of the projected $400 million revenue by 2026. This could result in average salaries rising to $200,000 and maximum contracts reaching $200,000 as high as $500,000. However, the league is countering with a proposal for a 15% share, citing an annual deficit of $10 to $20 million subsidized by the NBA. A lockout delaying the season by even 6 weeks could cost the league an estimated $5 million in gate revenue, and if prolonged, it might drop viewership significantly. For Caitlin Clark, this financial battle is a double-edged sword. Her $30 million Nike deal and her ability to draw 15 million viewers make her the league's biggest draw, yet a lockout could delay her second season, stalling her momentum and potentially tarnishing her legacy as a transformative star. Player unity is also a critical component of this unfolding drama. The WNBPA, led by Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson, opted out of the CBA in October 2024 to secure proper wages, and Collier's remarks reflect a strong, unified stance. Kelsey Plum, a guard for the Las Vegas Aces, who averaged 18.2 points in 2024, has been vocal about the need for NBA-style revenue sharing, stating, "We deserve a fair cut of the revenue we generate." This sentiment has been echoed by a significant majority of players in recent surveys. New York Liberty star Breanna Stewart, who averaged 23.4 points and 8.5 rebounds in the 2024 finals, told ESPN, "We're finally valued, but we need the money to match." Sabrina Ionescu, also from the Liberty and averaging 19.8 points, tweeted that $64,000 for a rookie isn't enough. "We're worth more." A message that resonated with thousands of fans. Even Caitlin Clark, who drove 15 million Fever Sky viewers, commented on Collier's interview with a simple, real talk that garnered widespread attention. This unity among players could either be the catalyst that forces the league to finally address its revenue sharing imbalance, or, if the lockout fails, a moment that becomes a divisive chapter in WNBA history. What about the long-term vision? The WNBA has ambitious plans, expanding into new markets like Golden State, Toronto, and Portland by 2026, and aiming for a global footprint with 3 million fans by 2028. The current $2.2 billion media deal is expected to push revenue to $500 million by 2028, with international markets like Toronto potentially adding hundreds of thousands of fans annually. However, a lockout could derail these plans by delaying expansions, reducing fan engagement, and even causing a 10% drop in viewership from current levels. Historically, labor disputes have left their mark on the league. The 2011 NBA lockout, for instance, coincided with a period of declining attendance. A 2025 lockout, especially at a time when the league is experiencing record-breaking finals ratings and global attention, could rewrite its legacy as a cautionary tale of missed opportunities. For Caitlin Clark, this is a critical moment. With 15 million Fever Sky viewers making her the face of the new era, any disruption in the league's momentum could stall her rise. If the WNBA emerges from this dispute with fairer pay and a solid global footprint, Clark could be celebrated as a pioneer who helped secure a new era of equity. But if the lockout drags on or if concessions aren't reached, her legacy might be forever marred by a period of turmoil. Finally, historical parallels offer a stark reminder of what's at stake. The WNBA's legacy has been shaped by pivotal moments. Lisa Leslie's fight for maternity leave, Cheryl Swoops' push for better benefits, and the groundbreaking improvements from the 2020 CBA. Each of these moments was a step toward greater equity, but they also came with significant challenges, including fan backlash and internal strife. Collier's lockout threat could be the turning point that finally forces the league to secure a 20% revenue share, potentially raising average salaries to $200,000 and attracting top talent like Paige Buckers, who is projected to be the #1 pick. One pick in 2025 with an impressive collegiate scoring average. Such changes could boost viewership and attendance to record levels, solidifying the WNBA's legacy as a league that truly values its players. However, if the lockout fails, it could lead to a loss of $20 million in gate revenue, a significant drop in viewership, and a delayed expansion schedule, all of which would tarnish the league's hard-earned legacy. In summary, Naphesea Collier's lockout threat is far more than a provocative comment. It's a seismic challenge to the status quo that could rewrite the history of the WNBA and put Caitlin Clark's legacy in jeopardy. With the league experiencing record-breaking growth in attendance, viewership, and media revenue, the current disparities in revenue sharing are more glaring than ever. Collier's bold declaration, coupled with the ongoing push for better wages by players across the league, represents a pivotal moment. The coming months, as the CBA negotiations unfold, will determine whether this movement leads to a new era of fairness and respect for the players, or if the league's financial constraints and potential fan backlash force a compromise that leaves its legacy tarnished. Drop your thoughts below. What do you think about Collier's lockout threat, and how will it affect Caitlin Clark's legacy? Subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for tomorrow's update on this unfolding drama as it continues to evolve.